Yeah.
Is that what he did? Okay.
If he tried to land with all brakes, he would have lit the tires on fire and burned the aircraft to the ground.
Oh.
It wouldn't have gone well, especially landing with a tailwind on the wrong runway. So we're going to start out with a scene from the movie Snakes on a Plane.
I have had it with these snakes on this plane.
That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Let's open windows.
Everybody's awake for 30 seconds beyond after he busts the window.
It's usually a good idea if you're in an emergency situation. Listen to the guy who's screaming obscenities.
Yeah.
That's a good solid plan.
All right, everybody make sure.
I liked him better with an eye patch.
Yeah.
3.
You usually get a big cloud of like when the air loses all its pressure, and so all the moisture condenses out really quick.
Yeah.
Is that why they have window exits
I don't know.
on planes? In case there's a whole bunch of snakes?
Yeah. Snake prevention.
They're preparing for that.
It also only lasts a fraction of a second. Once the pressure equalizes, then it's not going to continually vacuum out on and on and on and on. Once the structure compromises, then you're usually looking at a cascade failure where the roof starts ripping off, where they shot out the windows and in between the windows started to come apart and the bulkhead started to fail, but only right around the windows. Yeah. Either it wouldn't fail and just the window would crack, or once the bulkhead fails, you're looking at the whole thing starting to peel back.
I didn't think the snakes were that scary.
Yep.
Honestly.
Agreed.
It's like the least concerning part of that whole scene for the snake.
More scary is a guy who didn't want to fly a plane in that 2,000 hours.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's my dream, man. I'd be like, I want in. Get out of the way.
It says numbers about his skill level
Yeah.
acquired in those 2,000 hours.
Quality versus quantity.
Are you telling me that your only real flight time is at the controls of a video game?
No, see, it's not a video game.
And there it
all
is.
right? It's a flight simulator.
Is that a PlayStation or Xbox?
That's-
I've had students say the same thing.
It's not a
I've
video.
been playing a lot of Call of Duty. I got this.
Yeah.
All right, good luck.
Flynn, man,
I like that he takes pride. Not a video game.
Yeah.
That's why he didn't jump at the chance.
Yeah.
And I'll be fine.
This is Agent Neville Flynn, FBI.
The mic booms aren't even near the roofs.
Negative tower. I can't do that. I don't have time for westbound orientation.
Why don't you have time to
Yeah.
land
All
on
the time in the world.
Final land.
Well, then I suggest you speed up clearing the rest of the runways, because my ass is coming in for a landing.
That's the attitude.
Yeah.
PIC mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to teach our
It
students.
has nothing to do with clearing the runways. You're going to overshoot the whole thing, you moron. Bounced
There
to
it is,
747. Ouch. Yeah, you smack that hard, it's not bouncing. You're just going to snap the gear.
Let's run in the game.
Yeah, you're not going to turn at that speed.
Yep. Hey, right to the gate.
I like how they didn't
Why-
deploy any spoilers or reverse thrust or anything. Just all
Why was
brakes.
aiming towards the buildings better than
Yeah.
dirt?
You don't want to go into the overrun that's actually going to arrest
Right.
your stop.
I just figured that was a speedy taxi.
He looked like he had it under control to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo! All praises to the PlayStation. Yeah.
And the snakes automatically disappear?
Yeah.
They got
was
sucked
it.
out earlier. We're good. Snakes are no longer a problem.
The snakes got hypoxic, but the passengers didn't. Yeah. That was the plan.
Yep. Well, first off, the PlayStation, you use your hands to fly the aircraft. When you're actually on the ground, a lot of what you're utilizing is your feet. So he would have no idea what any of the controls do, which that part was accurate. It looked like he had no idea what he was doing. But yeah, he wouldn't know how to operate any of the controls he would need to.
Yeah.
Well, there's two different classifications. Like on your PlayStation or your Xbox, you've just got the hand controller. And then in an actual flight simulator, you've got the whole cockpit set up and foot pedals and throttles and all that kind of stuff, which would be a bit more accurate. But even then, until you get into a full level simulator, you're looking at like approximation where it's not going to be the same as the cockpit. So you wouldn't be able to find things very easily.
Yeah, he knew where all the buttons were, right? But,
Yeah.
I mean, not going to have that on Flight Simulator.
Like the ATC really didn't do anything
No.
to help him out, like coach him along. Hey, you want to look for this and make sure you arm a way to slow down faster.
They tried to.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you have no experience. Maybe don't land with a giant tailwind. He's like, too bad, coming in. Like, all right, well, let's get out our video cameras and watch the explosion.
Yeah, there wasn't even a flat tire at all.
Yeah.
Not even one.
We did on the anti-skid.
Oh, that's right.
That's what he did.
Yeah.
Is that what he did? Okay.
If he tried to land with all brakes, he would have lit the tires on fire and burned the aircraft to the ground. That wouldn't have gone well, especially landing with a tailwind on the wrong runway.
All wings report in.
Red 10 standing by.
Red 7 standing by.
Red 3 standing by. Red 6 standing
Why did we not use those when we did that formation flight?
Right.
Should have.
Yeah.
Red 6 standing by.
Hindsight.
We should have. Man,
That would have been fun.
what were we thinking?
Hey, don't they have R2-D2 on that thing? It's like a mobile autopilot.
That's pretty much the autopilot, right?
Yeah.
He's the one flying.
You keep your autopilot with you everywhere you go. And how does the, in space you have to have something to move, you don't have any air to deflect?
Right.
But they use the
Thrust
force.
vectoring.
They've got thrusters.
Oh, yeah. Thrust back, I like that, that's funny.
It's a good space explosion right
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
I wonder why the Empire, stuffed their TIE fighters full of TNT. Like,
Right.
the X-Wings kind of break apart a little bit, but the TIE fighters just, you hit them once, done. I guess they did the same thing with the Death Star, though.
That's true, yeah.
One shot and the whole thing explodes.
Wait, what happens?
Have you not seen this?
Spoiler.
What? Sorry, spoiler alert.
Spoiler. Come on.
We only had, what, 40 years?
Well, first off, all the aerodynamics are different. So, I mean, anything goes in space.
Yeah.
That's right.
And they use the force, so anything goes there too.
Yeah.
So I'm saying it's
I want to use the force.
credible.
I don't know how the photons, are those what they're called? The missiles that then bend and do a 90-degree whoop.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how that happens.
They're thrust vectoring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
It's awesome. Yeah, you can't get around it. It's amazing.
See, when cinematography is so great, you can go outside the laws of physics, and it's okay.
My subject knowledge is a little limited in space aerodynamics, but I'm willing to bet that dogfighting in space wouldn't go quite the way it is
Smoothly.
there.
Well, we'll find out now that we have our Space Force, right?
Yeah, we've got the SpaceX going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The tactics were definitely questionable.
Yeah.
Didn't seem very effective.
And this is where the tail dragger.
This is
actually
why
came
you
in.
have to taxi at the pace of a brisk walk right here. That's how they used to do it. That's why it says that in the
I like
name,
that they couldn't
'cause
figure
they're
out
wing walkers.
to widen the wheelbase so you didn't have to have that wing walker. Yeah.
At first it was with the brakes because those tires didn't have any brakes on them. And so they would have people hold them back to try to get them stopped.
Okay.
Who's going to make it to the runway first?
Because they didn't have any differential braking.
Yeah, it's a real takeoff.
Well, yeah, because the FAA wouldn't let them do it nowadays.
Yeah. This is why we need more Satabrias.
Yeah.
So we can recreate this.
The entire school should be Satabrias. Every plane.
That's cool. You got a field long enough. Why send people up a little bit at a time? Just take off in formation,
Yeah.
the whole fleet.
Got 8,000 feet of runway.
Yeah. Well, it's how wide it would have to be.
Right.
Pretty good shot for 1930.
How many tries do you think that took?
I don't know.
Probably got
Probably.
expensive if it was more than one.
Yeah.
It's the most expensive war film of its time.
Oh, wow.
Would you like to be that guy?
Riding on the nose.
That's awesome.
Best seat in the house.
Love how on those old German planes the wings were so ineffective they had to mount a third wing in between the landing gear just to try to get a little bit of extra lift.
Whiffed it big time.
That's a cool shot though.
Yeah, well,
You know back then that was like legit.
Right.
they just don't make it like the olden days. Love to watch the bombs move forward too as they track, as they're
Yeah.
falling.
You make the scale model, but you can't, shrink the smoke. So
Right.
you get this cool look to it. Oh,
Nice.
that's cool.
Almost made it.
Uh-oh, now you guys are in for it. Does do a good job of representing how hard communications were back then, though.
Yeah.
Like trying to use hand signals and
Yelling at each other.
Yeah.
Not very effective.
Dropping in.
Hey, that looks like a spin.
Yeah.
Steep spiral.
Deep right.
And that's why it's in the ACS.
That's right.
Crazy. That's how fairly realistic realistic to the way it was back in World War I. Like, before they started mounting the guns, they just used their pistols and shoot at each other. Like, try to pull up alongside them and shoot at them. It's crazy.
I got him.
It's like the only line in this whole scene. I got him. Obviously, it's realistic. Everything they were filming was real. I mean, that's how the airplanes fly. That's how the fights went down. Like, you know, that's what it would have been like, which is crazy how close nowadays modern aerial combat is. You see a blip on the screen, you push a button, somebody explodes 200 miles away. Like, you know, it's very impersonal, more like a video game, where back then it was up close and personal. You could see the guy flying close enough for you to aim at him, and it was a different type of warfare.
I feel like movies and CGI have kind of changed the expectation of what a fight scene looks like, or like an aerial fight scene. And so this kind of thing, if you released it today, it's kind of like, it's not
Really
going to
slow.
get the heart racing kind of thing. And so they use CGI to kind of amp up the intensity.
It's funny because you look at movies now, and when that guy got hit in the tail, you saw the bullet holes going through. Now, if it got hit, the plane would just like explode.
Yeah.
And so here it's like, I mean, you could totally still fly it. I mean, it wouldn't be easy if you're riddled full of holes, but I mean, it's just pretty cool. That and how they were able to do this back then. Yeah. That's pretty cool. I mean, like, I could not imagine the FAA allowing something like this to go on now.
It was just neat to see them take off all together. That was neat.
I'm curious, during the actual war, how many mid-air collisions actually happen. I mean, if you have to be that close, and you know, obviously people aren't talking to each other because you're fighting, how many people actually hit each other?
Well, getting shot wasn't what killed most pilots back then.
Really?
Yeah. Takeoff, landing, and training was the most deadly part of aerial combat. Because nobody knew what they were doing, and it was the Wild West. I mean, you just kind of went out and did whatever you felt like. And but I think it kind of shows, you know, how unprepared people were for early aerial applications, where, you know, everybody was like, oh, look, airplanes, and then their whole base explodes.
Yeah.
Like, I think like later on, where they've got all this anti-aircraft stuff everywhere, and you're flying through flak trying to get in, and yeah, they were pretty unprepared for it at first. That's why Hitler got as far as he did. So he exploited the airplane and had a lot of success with basically no resistance.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. Please hit that like button if you liked the video, or if you just want to, you know, give us some love, and subscribe to our channel if you liked it. You'll get more content later. Thanks.